Welcome to Alpha Protection Agency. Do you have an appointment? Let me just see. Oh, okay. You're my 8 o'clock. Please, come on in, have a seat. Yes. No, we've been expecting you. Thank you for being on time. Sure. Now, what brings you into us today? You want some information about personal protection. All right. Is there any particular reason for the inquiry? Have you had any bad experiences? No, just general inquiry. Okay. You just want to be safer? Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Well, I would be remiss if I did not mention our full-scale personal protection service. It entails a personal protection agent like myself to accompany you. I believe the maximum package is around 36 hours a week, I believe. And he would escort you to and from work, on your daily travels, wherever you might go, grocery shopping, to the mall. They would also pick up your children from school or daycare or wherever they might be, grandparents' house. Also, they would do a security assessment of your home, which people quite enjoy. There's no place like home, and we all want to feel safe where we live. And what they would do is they would do a top to bottom sweep of your domicile, and they would identify and correct any vulnerabilities that they might find. So that package starts at around $3,000 per month. I know that that's not within everyone's budget, but I can assure you that if you can afford it and you're serious about safety, that it's well worth it. You've been told about this package already? Okay. So you instead opted for the consultation. Okay. The consultation is not as amenity rich as the full-scale comprehensive security services that we offer. However, this is still very valuable, and there's still some good information. Basically, what this entails is we go through some important safety information. We tell you how to be safe in certain situations, common situations, and you use that information and adapt it to your lifestyle and just develop safe habits. It's still very, very effective and very valuable. So that's what we'll be doing today. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so we'll start with safety in the home. Very first thing that I always, always, always recommend to people is to change their locks. Basic master lock on the common house or apartment or condominium can be picked very, very easily, surprisingly easily. For example, I personally can pick the average lock about as quickly as the average person can open that lock with the key. They're just very, very simple, and I am also admittedly well practiced. However, you should be advised that I am not the only one who possesses this skill at this level. So, what does that mean? Well, what I recommend is replacing all the locks in your home with a brand called Schlage. Schlage. The reason I recommend this brand is because their locks are quite a bit more intricate than the average lock, and they're much more difficult to pick. That's very important. Sticking with the door, the next suggestion that I have is to get a peephole. And this is nothing more than a hole that goes all the way through your door with a piece of glass so that you can see who is at your door without opening the door and exposing yourself, leaving yourself vulnerable. The next issue that I have with the door that I always recommend is regarding when someone knocks at the door or rings the doorbell. The average person will open the door and speak to the visitor face to face. We advise against this because it leaves you vulnerable to an attack or an unwanted entrant into your home. What we recommend is speaking to the visitor through the door. You should, if you're not expecting a package or a visitor, assume that they're there to do you harm. We recommend speaking to them through the door. Now, the average door is not soundproof. Therefore, a conversation can be had through the door without opening the door and exposing yourself to potential danger. Next, regarding the home, we advise securing the windows. Now, the way to do this is to get locks if you don't have them already. If you do have locks, you want to make sure that you are using them. I know it seems very basic, But you'd be surprised how many home invasions take place that never would have occurred if all the windows or doors had been locked and secured. Of course, there's no way to know that they wouldn't have occurred, but having the windows and doors locked certainly would have made it more difficult. And that's the goal. So, in addition to locks on the windows, we also advise going down to either the local home improvement store or a maintenance shop or hardware store, or even online, and looking for protective film. Now, this protective film is made by a company called 3M. That's the number 3 and the letter M, like Michael. Yes, that's right. And the way this film works is that it's a clear film that goes right on top of your existing windows. And it actually will make the window shatterproof, completely shatterproof. So, if someone is planning on entering your home through the window by shattering it or breaking it with a large object like a rock or a crowbar, they won't be able to enter this way because the windows will be made impenetrable by this film. It's an extremely valuable investment. It's especially important to have this film on any glass that you have around your doorways. I personally have very thin in the sense that they're not wide, not necessarily thickness of the glass itself, but the frame is, I would say, about 3 or 4 inches wide, and it surrounds the door. They are panes of glass, and we have film over them because otherwise we would leave the front door vulnerable. Someone could just break out the glass, stick their hand through the opening, and unlock the door and be in my house in no time flat. So we've secured it with this film, and our house is a much harder target as a result. Now, regarding attempts at your safety or at your home, the average burglar will do what's called a test of your home. What they will do is they will dress up like a messenger or a delivery person, or in some cases even a police officer. And they will knock at the door or ring the doorbell. 1, to see if anyone's home at that particular time of day. 2, to see what your response is. Will you open the door and talk to them, or will you leave it closed? And this is part of their planning process, to see if you or your home is a suitable target. Scary to think about, but a reality nevertheless. And you need to be prepared for this. And that's what I'm here for. So, if you're home alone, let's say you're homesick on a day when you would normally be at work, and a stranger comes and knocks at the door, it's important that you answer the door, because if you don't, they could assume that you're not home at this time of the day and plan to do whatever they're planning at that specific time, because they will assume no one's there. If you answer the door, that will tell them, one, that someone is there at that time of the day, and two, that you're taking precautions. Now, you must follow the instructions that I've laid out, and this will usually serve to thwart their attempts. You see, the type of criminals that would attempt to gain access to your home during the day typically are looking for the easiest target they can find. And by following some simple rules and developing some simple habits, such as the information that I'm giving you now, can be enough to make them think twice about carrying out their plans on you and your home. A couple of other noteworthy suggestions are to buy a security sign, a home security sign, and put it out front of your house. That way, it will serve as quite an obvious deterrent. It'll tell passersby that you have a home security system, even if you don't. Something else we recommend is to buy a dog bowl, a big dog bowl, and put it in front of your house with some dog food in it. Maybe even putting an intimidating sounding name on the dog bowl, such as Killer or Hercules. This is, of course, a ruse. However, in tandem with these other suggestions, can serve to give the impression that your home is a less than ideal target for would-be attackers or criminals. Another suggestion is lights. Lights on the outside of your house. We recommend floodlights on every side of your home. Typically, we recommend motion sensor lights. The way these work is there's a sensor on the light, and if it senses movement, the light will come on and alert you to whatever might be there. One of the downsides to this is that if you live in a rural area, animals that frequent your property who trigger the sensor could overwork it, so to speak. The sensor will go off frequently, and it may lose some of its effectiveness. However, we urge you to remain vigilant, pay attention to any triggering of the light. If you decide to go that route, it's still very, very valuable to be able to see on all sides of your property. Yeah. I some more information for you. Personal protection when you're out and about. If you're traveling alone and you're going to the store, for example, we recommend parking as close to the building as you can, especially if you're going to be leaving with lots of packages. When you have your hands full, you're rather vulnerable for attack. So, if you have a cart, we recommend taking the cart all the way from the store to your car. That way, you can use your hands if needed without destroying your packages. Also, in addition to parking close to the building, we also recommend parking near lights. That's especially important if you're parking a little farther from the building. That way, your car is lit up and will be less of a target. Another tip is that when you go out in public, carry a weapon of some kind. In the event that someone tries to hurt you, this can be used to defend yourself. We recommend a pistol. Now, I know guns are not for everyone, so there are some other options. A collapsible knife can be used. Typically, we recommend the type that can be opened with your thumb. It folds out just by flicking your thumb. This kind of a motion. I don't seem to have a knife to show you. I normally carry one, but I don't seem to have it today. But it's important that it has a notch on the side so that you can open it with your thumb. That'll be especially important for easy access. If you can't get a knife or you don't have a knife, you can also use a pen. You can also buy what's called a tactical pen. They're typically metal, one solid piece. But if you don't, then any type of pen will suffice. We just recommend that it's as tactile as possible. That way, when you try to defend yourself, it won't slip. So, I think that's about all I have for today in the way of safety. Do you have any questions? Anything in specific that you would like me to discuss? Oh, car safety. Yes, I do have one tip. The one tip that I have for car safety is to protect yourself not necessarily against a carjacker, but against a car fire, or if you accidentally go through a guardrail and go into water. Basically, any situation where you need to escape from your car. You should buy a tool. It's a combination tool that can both cut your seatbelt and break your window. The specific item that I recommend is called a life guard. You can get them on Amazon.com for, I believe, around $8. It attaches to your keychain, or you could affix it somewhere in your car where it's easy to access. And basically the way it works is that it pulls away from the keychain. It's a detachable keychain. Pull it away. Let's say you're in an accident and the car starts burning. What you can do is detach it from the keychain with the pull away feature that I just mentioned. There's a hook like this. It's longer than this. It's probably about this long, with a blade on the inside. You can take the blade, cut through your seatbelt, and then, in addition to the hook with the blade, right here where my thumb is, there's a piece that is retractable that has a pin on the inside. And the way it works is you put it up against the window and you press it, and this piece will detract and the pin will come out, and the pin will go into the glass and shatter it. It's fairly simple. I've done it myself, seen many demonstrations. You can go online and look at them for yourself. It's really quite effective, and it truly, truly does save lives. Is there anything else you have questions about? Okay, great. So, I hope we've effectively armed you with the tools and information necessary to stay safe in this world where anything can and does happen. I thank you very much for coming in, and feel free to stop by anytime you wish, and we can certainly do this again. If there's any information that you want beyond our general consultation, we'll be happy to sit down with you and accommodate you. Okay, great. It's been very nice meeting you. Thank you very much.